They called us superhumans. All the differently able people who are at the top level, they called us superhumans. Arnold Schwarzenegger said one time, in one of the speeches, he said he never had a plan B. It was always planning. He wanted to do something, he did it. People tend to put less effort when there is a safety net. Because I thought, yes, I'm not going to win this. I need to put in a lot of hard work if I have the ability to win. I think helped me to go that extra mile.
Hello and welcome to Vikram's Incredible 1000, the Success Podcast. On this, we look to interview the best of the best and really understand what does it take to get extraordinary results so that we can replicate them, hopefully. Today we have with us an absolute champion. He's an Arjuna awardee. He's a 7-time Asian Paragame medalist, and that's a record, by the way. He's also a London 2012 Paralympian. He is the main operator of the Bluefin Foundation, which looks to help underprivileged and differentially abled people and young children get into the sport of swimming. I am so happy to have with us today Sharath Gayakwad.
Hi.
Bro, welcome
Thank
to
you
the
so
show.
much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's an absolute treat, dude. You've done so much over the last 10, 20 years of your career in swimming and throughout your life. So I want to know, bro, what drives you to be extraordinary and incredible?
My main motto came in from Ian Thorpe, who is my idol. He's an Australian Olympian. And he said, losing is not coming second, it is getting out of the water, knowing you could have done better. So till then I used to be nervous, before the races I used to like Michael Phelps says, I used to have butterflies in my stomach and all. So I was very nervous, and once of course having someone at such a high achievement tell these quotes, following it helped me develop myself, my inner feeling, my confidence. And ever since then there's been only one rule: no matter what you do, you just have to do your 100%. So winning and losing is a second thing. So I would say that is the main success for mantra for my success.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how just like one idea or one quote can change your life.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like with what you shared, one thing that really stood out is, with regard to anything that you do, it may be even something quite small, but you give it your 100%,
Yes, definitely.
then you get the most out of it. On a personal level, what do you feel pushes you to do more than the common person?
It is definitely the love for the sport. Probably if it have been in some other field, I don't know if I would, love doing it, enjoy doing it, and I wouldn't have achieved so much of success. Before I wanted to start swimming. I wanted to be a cricketer. I wanted to be a footballer. But once I started swimming, I loved it, but I didn't think I will, work so hard and achieve something. Once I found that love and that passion to, achieve something great, and of course, it is every sports person's dream to be at the Olympics and Paralympics. So Paralympics was definitely my dream, and I started working really hard. Of course, the initial medals that you win, whether it's inter-school or inter-club, or at whether it's state national championship, so those small moments of achievement will gets in that hunger more. And you want to work more hard, and you want to give it everything you've got. Like they say, leave nothing on the table. So it's I think that's the main thing.
Amazing. It's just really nice to hear the perspective that you come from when you approach your art.
Yeah.
What led you to take up swimming? Can you just walk me through your journey? Because each person has their own
Yeah.
factors that contributed to their success and their own decisions that led up to taking up a sport like
Yeah.
swimming. So can you just take me through what got you into swimming, what got you to this point, and what contributed to your success?
So my birth condition is I mean, this is a birth condition.
Mhm.
So ever since the initial stages, I was struggling to do every bit of thing. I needed help with something as simple as putting on your clothes and all. Of course, I was young back then. I didn't know exactly what to do, but I needed help for everything. And I was studying in Little Flower Public School, and then when we were in class 4, um, they started mandatory swimming classes for all the kids. My parents, of course, they were scared. My father didn't know how to swim that well, and my mom didn't know swimming at all. So they were scared, like, how will my kid who has a disadvantage go and do something that even we can't do? So they were scared, and but the principal, she made sure that she boosted some confidence in my parents, and she said, he has to try. Later, if he still can't do it, we'll stop it right there. So that's how it started, and it was the year 2000. So we started then, and I was going to Jainagar swimming pool, which is a PM swimming center. The coaches over there made sure that I was comfortable, and I think that is one of the plus points for me to get more comfortable with the water and gain some confidence. Of course, I took more time to learn than the other kids, but thanks to the coaches alone, who made sure that I was safe and I was comfortable. So since then, I was encouraged to take it up as an extracurricular activity, for fitness, and it definitely helped me boost my confidence. I understood that there is not one way to do anything. That you can apply different methods to achieve the same goal. So since then, I started to apply the same thing in whatever I did, and I could see the change. And but of course, like I said, winning medals helped me to get that confidence boost. So even doing other things helped me to gain that confidence. And today I can say there's nothing that I can't do. And let's say there it started. And for 3 years, almost 3 years, I was just doing the inter-school and club meets. And in 2002, I got to know that there are special competitions conducted for the differently abled people. Since then, I just wanted to give it a try again, and we started training a bit harder. Recreational swimming started to get into competitive training. And in 2003, I made it to my first nationals, and I won 4 gold medals there. At the same competitions, looking at my performance, there was an age group competition called FESPIC Youth Games happening in Hong Kong in 2003 again. So I was selected for that. There I won 1 silver and 4 bronze medals. So since then, there's been no looking back. I've just given everything for swimming. 2006, I made it to my first senior team. I was about 15 years old, and I made it to the senior team. Ever since then, I've been getting some really good guidance from the seniors as well. They've been encouraging me a lot. That supported me very well during training, because when we used to attend training camps, I used to stay away from the family, which is a very hard thing to do for anybody basically. And 15 years old was a bit tougher. Since then I've grown as a person. I've tried to manage responsibilities as well. Coming to 2010, we had the three major meets I had to do in 2010, which is the World Championships first, and then the Commonwealth Games in Delhi, and then 2010 again Asian Para Games. So 3 major meets in a year, and the training was at a very high intensity. And special mention goes to Commonwealth Games, even though I didn't win. I finished fifth in the Commonwealth Games in Delhi. But swimming in front of the home crowd was always special, and even though I finished fifth, to hear the crowd cheer for the local guys, really amazing feeling. So, and of course, that leading to the Asian Para Games, I won a bronze medal at the 100 breaststroke event. Moreover, we achieved our main target, which is to qualify for the London 2012 Paralympics. We did that at the very same event, and we were very happy with it. Of course, that's the first step to the dream, and the next 1.5 year of journey was amazing. A lot of rigorous training and a lot of camps, and I got an opportunity to train in Australia. with one of the top coaches over there, and there I got to experience a different kind of traditional swimming. I missed out saying one thing, which was in 2003, Coach John Christopher came into the Jayanagar swimming pool as a head coach, and immediately, he saw me and he started to train me under his wing. And initially he absolutely had no idea, and of course, even I didn't have any idea. But we used to do a lot of research ourselves. He used to do a lot of research and discuss a lot of things with me on how to improve my technique and my balance in the water, and my, of course, my performance. And we used to do a lot of experiments as well. So, and the same way, going to Australia, meeting the coaches who were kind of an expert, who had already trained Olympians and Paralympians as well. So they had quite of expertise in para swimming as well. So I got to learn a lot of things. 2 months, it was a completely different experience, different kind of training routine. I was all alone again, but all this time in the camps, I've been at the company of my fellow teammates. But here I was all alone, so I had to manage everything myself, and that was a very tough job. But I got through that. It was 2012 London Paralympics. That is a dream come true, and the best way of telling something, how I felt was walking into the aquatic stadium. There was a Coldplay song, which was Paradise. I don't think there was any other. I could have given any other explanation of how I was feeling. I finished ninth over there. Again, best performance in all my events that I took part in, and I was really happy. And we got to see, an amazing level of performances, and it was one of the turning points in para swimming as well, worldwide. So that was amazing feeling. And two main points I have to tell here is, we are at the Paralympics at the highest level of the sport, and walking into the call room, and all my competitors are seated, but the atmosphere is completely different. Even though we are competitors, we are like talking to each other, and then just before we go out on the deck, we are showing thumbs up and smiling at each other. And I think that was amazing example for sportsmanship. And once we went on the blocks, it's everybody knows what they got to do, just give the 100%. And even after the race, we are congratulating each other, we're checking up how we did, and we are happy whether we are happy with the performance or not. So that is an amazing feeling. And the second point is that no matter, even though I'm from India, I got support from a lot of other countries. As and when you're walking down the street after your events and all, there were crowd coming in, because we were wearing, of course, India, and we had the Olympics, Paralympics ID cards, so they could easily recognize us that, yeah, these are Paralympians, and everybody wants to get a picture. That was a completely different experience, and even though I was not from their origin country, they were still supporting me and encouraging me. That is amazing. And coming down after that, I actually wanted to retire in 2012 and take up coaching. So that had become my passion. Like my coach John Christopher has been the role model. So every time I used to see him coach on the deck, it made me want to be there. I like him. I want to be a coach. So that's how the deal started. And since I became Paralympian, I wanted to stop. But my coach, he took no for an answer, and we went through. But we were going through some difficult time. Like my mind was not there that much. But then, since I wanted to coach, so my coach realized that okay, we can do something for this, and he gave me a very small bunch of kids. Very young kids, to take care of them for an hour or something. So that changed my mentality again. So I was able to coach, get in that experience, and then that made me more comfortable in the water, putting in the hard work. Then in 2014, I still again wanted to quit, but again, a lot of convincing going on. I was being supported by Go Sports Foundation, and I got the opportunity to meet Rahul Dravid as well. Hear his side of the story. He shared all his experience and everything, and that helped me to get that confidence to finish off the Asian Para Games. Of course, I was trying to win maximum number of medals. We had to experiment in other qualifier meets, whether I will be able to swim 8 events at a single Asian Games. After getting in that experience of racing 8 events, of course, heats and finals again we had to do. So almost 14 to 15 races at a single competition was a very tough job. I had a shoulder injury as well, so it was like bad timing and good timing, I can say. But with shoulder injury, we are not sure if I'll be able to manage, but we did in those meets, and then we decided, we'll train for it. But if we feel that at any point of time that it's going to take a toll on the games performance on our main events, which is like a for sure medal events, we're going to take a step back. Luckily, that did not happen, and I was able to win 6 medals, and which is a record previously held by PT Usha. She had won 5 medals about 28 years back, and I was able to break that record. So that was a very different feeling. And finally, in 2015, I felt like I couldn't take this anymore, and then I didn't want to hate swimming itself. The thing which my whole life has been in the water. If I'm hating to even get inside the water, I think that's something really, stepping in the wrong direction. I didn't want that to happen. So finally, in 2015, I decided that I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna take up coaching. So since then, it has been a coaching career. I've still been, taking part in few races here and there, competing, but I haven't been training for it. It's just, that adrenaline feeling and that racing, the feel you get when you race. So it's completely different. I just want to get the feel of that, and I was doing that till last year. And from this year, I've decided completely I'm going to dedicate my time for coaching, and of course I'm one of the trustees for Bluefin Foundation, which is working towards the underprivileged and the differently abled kids at the grassroots level, introducing them to the sport and then taking step from there.
Amazing to just hear the entire journey and what has shaped you to become the individual that you are. So many things to learn from, and in particular, some things that stood out for me. One was you felt like there was another way to get to the goal. Each person wants to become, they want to represent their country, and they want to do something extraordinary with their life. And that it just goes to show, listening to your story, that you can reach that dream, and it does not have to be in the way that everyone else does.
Definitely, to put it in a much simpler way, I can say all these top racing teams, everybody's different. Everybody's doing different kind of thing, but ultimate goal is to win the championship, and they're doing it. And we have seen so many different kinds of winners over the years. So even though everybody's doing different things, some people have advantage at the speed, some people have advantage at controlling the turnings, hydraulics. Only they know it. Since I'm a fan, I'm able to understand a little bit of it. So there are so many companies doing different things to win a race, and they are able to do it. So we can apply that same formula in different aspects of life as well.
I think that's one of the main things that really stood out, and just this, building your own formula on the journey that you're on. I think that integrating all of the things that you went through, especially with how your coach played a role, some significant things to take from there. So, bro, I want to know, sometimes, unfortunately, because of the world we live in, because of the nature of people, people can be crude at times. Have you ever been on the receiving end of any kind of negativity, hate, criticism from someone who may have just seen you and then just gotten that perspective? Oh, he's not like me, and for that reason, I should probably not accept this person as much as I need to. So, have you ever had that situation where people have pushed this your way, and then how did you take it, and how has that how did you perceive that, and how did it shape you to be the person that you are today?
See, I haven't got any kind of criticism in my life, fortunately. But of course, there has been a lot of negative energy, and it's very common for everyone to compare, one another. and that was very difficult, and I was restricted from doing a lot of things as a kid, and that always used to affect me. Thanks to swimming, I was able to bounce back, but yeah, it definitely affected. When you get that kind of energy that yes, I can't do this, that's a very bad thing. But yeah, swimming helped me a lot, and once after that, I could see the same kind of comparison done with the other kids. Look at him, he has a single hand, there's a disadvantage, but still he's able to do so many things, and he's achieved so much. Like, what are you doing? I've seen that happen right in front of me. So I think it has affected me also. I can't say more than other kid, but I know that feeling initially when I was being compared with others, saying I can't do this, I can't do that, and everything. So I could understand the feeling there. So there's ups and downs, of course, but that comparison should actually stop, especially for kids, who don't understand anything basically. Coming to back to the negative part, I myself think I am also a negative person. I have that negative energy as well, because it helps me prepare. So not the negative energy to disregard anyone else and anything. It's like a more personal thing. When I go to a competition, I have that negative feeling. Yeah, I might not win this race, but not win a medal, and that has helped me to cope up with the result. And I have seen that many times I have won a medal, but I'm still not happy because I haven't improved my performance. I haven't improved my time, because to get into the Paralympics, to the World Championships and all, you need your qualifying time. It doesn't matter whether you're a gold medalist or you're a national record holder. If you achieve that timing itself, you get to take part in these big meets. So that was always playing, and so I had that negative energy in me that yeah, I might not win today. So I was having the negative thought on the result. So that helped me a bit more in my own way. I will not recommend this to anybody, but in my own way. So this is what happened with me, and it helped me. But there have been times where the negative energy has taken over completely, and I've had a lot of self doubt and everything, especially when I wanted to quit swimming and take up coaching. So these times have been really hard, and that negative energy has completely taken over my mind. Uh, the thing which used to be like hardly 10% in me was like almost 100%. So that was very difficult.
But it seems to me, considering what you said, it seems to me that you have still managed to channel that energy, even though it may have been negative, but it came out to something positive in the
Yeah,
end.
definitely.
So even if it might have been something that might have come from someone with evil intentions or bad intentions, the way you internalize that is very different from the common person, and then you use that towards, maybe you go into a workout, or
Yeah.
you give it a lot more effort when you're swimming or something like that. So I think the way you direct that energy, because what do most people do, they just sit and mope, or they feel
Yeah.
they build on the self-doubt over a period
Yeah,
of time, and then it just consumes them and they don't do anything. So I think the way that you put it across, to me at least, it seemed like the negativity is something that can be used as fuel
Yes.
towards doing something more positive. Yeah.
I just want to add something that Arnold Schwarzenegger said one time, in one of the speeches. He said he never had a plan B. It was always plan A. He wanted to do something, he did it. People tend to put less effort when there is a safety net. Because I thought, yes, I'm not going to win this. And, I need to put in a lot of hard work if I have the ability to win. I think helped me to go that extra mile.
Bro, I want to know, was there always a dream to become a swimming champion, or was it a vision and mission that tended to actualize over a period of time?
The dream, yeah, of course. As in when I started growing, it became a dream. This is one particular thing that you know made me beat all odds. Basically, when I started, I never imagined it's gonna be. I'm gonna be at the Paralympics. So it was step by step. Like I said, first 3 years was just recreation swimming, having fun, and trying to be fit. Once I got to know that yes, there are competitions for the differently abled kids, I went a step up and started to train. Once I won a national level medal, then we went to the international, and then I made it to the senior team, and then came in, the Asian Games and World Championship and everything. So, yeah, it was a step-by-step progression.
I think it just goes to show that not every champion starts off as a champion in their head.
Yes,
I
definitely.
think there is something that happens where over a period of time, because I remember you mentioned that you won a few medals and that built up your confidence, and then you realize, hey, maybe this is possible, maybe
Yeah.
I can actually do this. So that thing tended to build up over a period of time, and that reinforced the dream.
I always give this example of Dangal.
Mhm.
The first half of the movie, the father is forcing the girls to achieve his own dream, which is okay. It's still a bad example, but as and when the time came, the girl realized, it is her own dream. She can do something, and she wants to achieve this particular thing, the same dream that my father has. So I always give this version. I was also being forced into the water.
Mhm.
I wasn't given a choice to,
Hmm.
get away from it. So since they made it mandatory, I had to get into the water. It got me here. So sometimes forcing things might get you to something that you can never imagine.
I think in swimming, this is something that we're not alien to,
Yeah.
because one of the main things in swimming, or rather any sport where a coach or a mentor pushes somebody to give out their best every
Yeah.
single time, every single day. I think that brings on a whole new dynamic into the mix of what it takes to perform under a competition setting.
Definitely. Yeah.
Where certain thoughts, certain beliefs are drilled into your head that no, I need to give it 100%. I need to go after this,
Yeah.
and I need to win. So I think the role of having somebody you know guiding you, I think
Yeah, yeah,
there's
definitely.
a profound role.
Yeah.
On that note, now you've gotten into coaching, and this is a new role.
Yeah.
You're stepping out of the role of being in the water, and now you're out of the water, and now you're telling other people how to achieve what you have, and so much more. So I want to know, um, with this new role that you're taking up, what have you learned in the process, and is there anything that you now look to address, either in terms of physical or mental training, that was previously ignored when you were training?
It's a completely different psychological game. Coaching. Very To put it very simply, when I was swimming, it was all me.
Mhm.
Everything circled around me, and I was the decision maker. Whatever, I had to work hard. So once you start coaching, there are these very young kids who are looking up to you, and their future is in your hands. So that adds up a tremendous amount of pressure. Of course, first thing is safety. Water safety. That is one thing that's playing in your mind. Second one, yeah, these kids are looking up to you, and you got to shape their future. You got to shape their swimming career. And
Would you say it's more of a pressure, or this desire to want to see them win? Is it
that's
more
always
that?
there. I didn't become a coach to lose. Of course, I want each and every one of my kid. You, even if not they're not a swimming champion. We can teach so much of life lessons as coaches or teachers, that can help them in every aspect of their life. That is our main target. Of course, you're into swimming where we're putting in so much of hard work, and every coach has got so many different ideas and ways to work hard. We are all doing that. We all want that medal, but you have to say there is only three medals. We're not getting
Consolation prizes.
yeah, consolation prizes, or we're not just getting some percentage and getting a job at a company. There's only three medals, no matter how you put it. So there's only three winners. What can we do for them? What life lessons can we teach them? So that is one of the main things. Now I have a lot of sleepless nights than what I used to have when I used to swim.
Mhm.
It's basically that tension that how best we can prepare the kids for the competitions and life. But I love it. I love every minute of it. The main thing that also motivates me is that no matter how hard you are on the kids the previous day or whatever, you're giving in them really hard sets or pushing in them really hard. In spite of all that, the next session when they come to wish you, there's always a smile on their face. That is something. It's a. I can't explain that feeling. It's just amazing. So that is one of the main things that is driving me right now. To see those kids' faces, smiling faces every day, and of course we'll do everything that we can to make them successful.
Very, very interesting because I think like most coaches in any sport for that matter would really look to try and get the best out of their children. But I feel somewhere um, the society that we live in or the nature of our desire to win makes us push for results rather than look at the process. I mean, even in your journey, the growth would have been more process oriented, and then the results would have come as
Yeah,
a result
definitely.
of that. So, how do you address that part of it? How do you focus on the process a little bit more, and then look at the results that come as a result of the process? How do you look at that?
It's all stage by stage build up. When you get into swimming, they don't just ask you to swim, right? They get you to get confidence in the water, like just put your head down, blow out bubbles. So there's a process over there. So it starts from the very first step. So once you learn how to float, then you learn how to move your hands and legs, and of course you learn freestyle and all the other four strokes. And so it's always a step by step progression. Nowadays, a lot of parents were pushing in their 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds really hard. We see those kids achieve, unbelievable times and unbelievable performance. But after 4 5 years, the kids have been pushed so hard that the kids don't want to swim anymore, or they are not able to perform at all. They're just going a step back. They're not improving. So all the coaches around the world, even recently, there have been a lot of conferences and all where everybody is insisting on that stage by stage development and not to push the kids. Performance will come. They've given out the charts from all different countries, how they have progressed the training module and everything. So I think that is one thing we need to stress upon a lot. Like I said, forcing kids is fine, but we should not torture them without giving them any kind of leniency or options. So I think, yeah, that is a very good point very good question, and we insist on everyone to just go step by step, even though they are performing well. You cannot miss that step of teaching them this particular technique, because if they miss it out, and once the body gets adapted to whatever you're doing, it's very tough to change. We have something called muscle memory, and once you get that muscle memory, it's really hard to. It's going to be 10 times more to change. The bad habits. I advise everyone to go step by step, and according to the age and their level of skill, we need to train.
A lot of people, they're just they have that hunger, they have that desire to do well for themselves and the people around them, but I feel somewhere that can be a double-edged sword sometimes. You did mention that you worked so hard, you trained so hard that you wanted to quit. Today, what would you recommend others do when they find themselves in this situation where they're putting in the effort, they're putting in the hours, they're putting in so much, but it's really like they're about to hit their breaking point and then they want to completely stop? What's your advice for people who are in that stage or that frame of thinking?
Yeah, when they are in that frame of thinking, it's really hard to get into their minds. No matter what you say, it's going to be really difficult. All you can do is for them to take a couple of steps back, just relax a bit for a while, because you never know what is the reason for them to come into that kind of situation in the first place. As a coach, I will try to talk it out and try my level best to give them confidence. And look, as a coach, I don't want anybody to stop swimming. If you're not performing, just go back to recreation swimming, get fit. Don't even give that gap of not swimming for a day, because once you start to be relaxed and when you have that calm of mind, you can make a decision. Like they say, every decision made in anger has gone in vain. always very important to have a peace of mind. Keep the person really calm. A psychologist can do a better job than I can, but if it's my student, the student will definitely come to me because he or she has seen me for such a long time and they know what kind of a person I am. The coach is everything. Once they enter the pool, the coach is everything. Whether it's a coach, a parent, everything is a coach is everything for the kid. I would just say, relax a bit, keep yourself calm, and then tell it can be even your friend, whoever it is. Just tell them what you're going through, how it all started. Then we can find the root of the problem, and then we can do our best to solve it.
Very, very interesting perspective that you brought into this. That just because there is a problem, just because like you're at that stage where you want to stop, there is another way out.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean you give up on what you want. It just means that maybe you take a step back, you rest, you refresh, you get some perspective, and then you come back into the game.
Yeah.
So, bro, I want to know on a lighter note, what do you do for fun?
It's a lot of coaching stuff. A lot of going through a lot of books and YouTube videos and see. Sports is developing so much. There's a lot of new things that's coming up to help you adapt in your training better, and I do that a lot. And there's a small perspective that coaching is just on the deck. People don't know there's so much of planning that goes behind. So people have this wrong perception about coaching and sports. They just think it's just right on that field, that particular time, and we have to think in a lot of planning. We have so many different kinds of people coming in to train. How to cater everyone, so that's their planning and research, of course, and a lot of sitcoms and TV series and movies, and of course spend some time with family and friends. So that's that much it.
It's interesting to me that like this aspect of even in your spare time, there is a lot of thought that goes into maybe I want to improve myself, maybe I want to get better at what I'm trying to do. And for you as a coach now, I think you're stepping into that role where now I need to think on a different plane, and for that I need to gather the resources,
Yes,
the knowledge,
definitely.
the expertise.
Initially, when I started coaching, I thought it would have been very easy because I had been, when I started coaching, I was almost swimming for 13 years. I had 13 years of my own swimming experience. But when I got into coaching, it was completely like a no man's zone. I didn't know what to do. Yeah, I could easily give the same workouts that I used to swim. We maintain the workout diary, so we can do the same thing. But because you're training different set of kids, so you need to work on them. Yeah, that's how I understood, and I took time to understand all the different kinds of things, and then I found my own style of coaching, how I want to explain to the kids, how I want the kids to put in the effort, and what kind of workouts we need to do. Thanks to my student as well, who have given me feedback. Coaching was completely different. I just took 3-4 years to understand what I need to do. Even though I had been swimming for 13 years and I knew I had all that swimming experience. And of course, thanks to my coach John Christopher and my colleague Mr. Natraj, a lot of top coaches and who have helped me to work on different aspects of training.
Teaching is learning, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the quotes that my mentor told me, a long time ago when, even I wanted to go out and help people. It's in that process of teaching that I think we grow into a new kind of person. We adopt new principles, we adopt new approaches, and we constantly grow, look to improve. And again, that strong sense of contribution, I think that's what guides us towards, maybe I don't want someone else to go through what I went through, kind of thing.
I don't know if I heard this somewhere or I just came up with it. So learn, relearn, and repeat. So that's what I say to a lot of people. So even though you have learned it, learn again and keep repeating it because you never know what you have missed. there are a lot of things that I recall right now that I used to do at the initial stages of my coaching career and everything, and I'm not doing right now, which could have also helped the kids to adapt better. So when we are going through the same thing again and again, so every now and then I'm just going back in time and looking at the different kinds of workout we used to do and different kind of training module we used to adopt, and now we are not doing any of that. And that makes me wonder, if we could have done this, yes, kids could have improved much better. So that process is always there.
Bro, people always dream of turning their passion into their profession, and I ask this question to a lot of people who have done well for themselves. Is there something of a balance that is involved in this, or is it something that you just go after one particular thing that you really want? What's the emotional versus the rational approach to this, and what do you think about
It's
this?
really hard to argue when there is no money. When you have a passion to follow and there's no money, it's really hard to, convince anybody. Not everybody has the ability to follow their passion and achieve what they want.
Provided that support is there, what would you say?
Yeah, when that support is there, yeah, it definitely takes in a lot of hard work. Nothing comes easy, but of course there have been a lot of people who have done it, and like you said, when they're at the breaking point, they just lose out on it and they want to quit. So it all depends on time. Try to achieve it or come out of it, and if you get that support, nothing better than that, and you'll definitely have that success. But yeah, for everyone else who has a dream and they're not able to do it, it's never too late. My coach always says it's not too late until it's over.
So, bro, with regard to what you just shared, it's never over until the fat lady sings. But for somebody who genuinely does not have that support and they want to really pursue something, they have that deep burning need. And there are a lot of failed dreams out there. A lot of people who dreamed it, wanted to do it, and have that situation even with the people who have support.
Yeah.
Would you say that for people who genuinely want it, and if they work hard enough, and eventually the support will come along the way even if they don't have it initially, would you say that that person has what it takes to achieve what they want?
Like I said, it depends on time, and probably at that particular time when they get some good support, they might not be ready for it. They might have passed that particular the perfect timing phase. They would have passed that, but like I said, there are only three medals. Everybody can't win a medal. But what about those guys? Those who have not achieved any medal. They can definitely come out there, be still involved in sport, have the same kind of passion and determination as coach, as a support staff, as analytics is such a big part of sports. Basically, cricket is such a huge thing in India, right? So, IPL, when it was introduced, it changed a lot of people's life. I have never played, probably I've never even played a cricket match successfully in my days, and but I'm an engineer. I'm a analytics expert. Those guys are coming into cricket and creating so many analytics and algorithms and all, making the sport much simpler, and trying to develop the sport. So that's their passion. They've come in. Even they have never been to a state championship in cricket themselves. Here they are trying to develop the sport. So that again became a passion. So their passion is cricket. So I would say, if your passion is swimming, it doesn't matter if you're a winner, if you have won a medal, you can definitely come back, and there's sports medicine, there's sports psychology, there's swimming coaches, there's support staff. There are a lot of other aspects in swimming itself that you can support, or in different sports that you can do and still have the same kind of passion. Of course, the feeling will be different because you wanted to be there in the water, you wanted to win that medal. You have not been able to do that, but since you love the water, you're still associated with the water. So that's the main thing.
Very crisply put. I think this was probably the most profound point you made today, and that is the way you live the dream, it can be very different.
Yeah.
You can still live the dream, again, many different ways to achieve the same
Yes,
goal.
definitely. Yeah.
So I think you can live your passion, and you can still turn that into a profession, provided you're a little smart, you're a little resourceful.
Yeah.
So somewhere I feel that if people can find that way in which they can take care of, I think money is a huge issue for people.
Yeah.
So if they can take care of that and then bring in the aspect of finding the love aspect in in the everyday work that they do, I think it can totally change the way in which they look at what they're doing and achieve anything that they
Yeah,
want
I
for
would like to
themselves.
add that that is our main intention why we started Bluefin Foundation. Now there are many foundations which are supporting good athletes, who have just started to perform well at the state championship and national championship. Like I said, Go Sports, who had been supporting me for a long time. There are many other foundations. So in Bluefin Foundation, we found out that people, when they if they don't have an opportunity to get into sports, how will they achieve state level glory or national level glory and then get sponsorship, people coming and sponsoring them? They need to have that at least opportunity to get in. So that's why we were working with the underprivileged and differently able kids who don't have that opportunity or access to sporting facilities. We want to get them in, learn the sport, and we're not restricted to one sport. We want to adopt as many sports as possible. Of course, we have started with swimming and athletics. So we are working with different school, started to work with different schools and get them involved in sport. So if 100 people come, at least we'll have 10 people who are going to take it to the next level, and uh, yeah, again, like 5 people getting to the state and national arena, and then 1 or 2 persons getting into the international, and then these big organizations are coming and supporting them. That's our initial stage. We have to get maximum people involved in sport, and we will definitely get some fruit out of it. But if they have not even been given that opportunity, it's going to be very difficult.
That's why
Let's
you're
hope.
here.
Yeah, let's hope we also get, as a foundation, we get that kind of support in a large scale to affect thousands of young uh, young crowd.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bro. I mean, honestly, dude, they're a real example of what it takes to be extraordinary and live in an extraordinary fashion. There are a lot of people out there who are currently going through some challenge. Maybe they're differentially abled, maybe they're suffering from some kind of mental illness. They're suffering some kind of challenge in their life. You know, with how you have grown as a person, is there any piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is going through a challenge in their life?
See, it's all about trying. If you don't try, you never know what you can do. Like, I can't give a much better example because I am that. If I hadn't tried swimming, I didn't know where I could have been today. So it's all about trying, and like I said, it's 100%. Even your studies, whether you're studying for an exam, if you don't do it with 100% concentration, even if you study for hours, it's of no use. If you just do it for 10 minutes to 15 minutes with 100% concentration, you get in more knowledge than what you have done for hours. So keep trying, and give your 100% in no matter what you do. So that is always going to be my advice for whether they're a 10-year-old kid or a 20-year-old guy, or
50-year-old.
somebody 50-year-old who is probably someone who is a really big shot, who is working in an established company and
Absolutely.
everything. But still, if you have something, just give your 100%, no matter what.
Never give up, never
Yes,
surrender. Dude, not only are you differentially able, I feel you're differentially extraordinary.
Thank you so
And
much.
I think, each and every person who's watching this in some way would have gotten inspired by not only your story, but also your accomplishments and how you have taken, something that possibly was most people's biggest pain, and
Yeah.
you've turned it into your greatest strength. So it's.
I would just quote one last thing.
Mhm.
London 2012 Paralympics. Um, of course, advertisements and everything. They called us superhumans. All the differently able people who are at the top level, they called us superhumans. So, it was really something really great of them to come out with such a thing,
Absolutely.
superhumans, that again changes the psychology.
I think you're more of a human who's doing super extraordinary
Yes,
things.
yeah, definitely.
I think that's really what we can take from you, and anyone who may be going through a challenge, or if they're listening to this right now, I feel somewhere, someplace, we need to come to realize that today we never have it that bad.
Definitely.
We never have it that bad. I mean, today
But
it might be
today it's
something.
become very easy. If you fail, you can quit. It's become very easy. Don't let your ups and downs dictate what you want to achieve. There are people who have lost and just immediately quit, and they've lost confidence. There's a one. They've been overconfident, and then they can't cope up with the loss. They've been winning all their life, and then once they lose, they're not able to cope up. So don't let your ups and downs dictate. Everybody will have a low.
Rise.
Rise up from the ashes.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully put. I think each and every day, if we could take a little bit of what you've shared with us today, apply it in our lives, and really look to get a little bit better, I think the sky's the limit,
Yes,
and you've proven it time and again.
Yeah.
So, dude, honestly, first of all, big thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Dude, I just want to say that with all that you've done, is there one action that you would encourage the people who are listening in to take today that will take them one step closer towards success? Any one thing that they can do today?
I just say, work on the thing which can get you back. Don't just start acting on it immediately. You have some time. You can do a lot of research
Mm-hmm.
and see how you can get back together, because things are not going to be the same. Time only says, what's the right thing. But it's very important for you to do your research and do it right. And if something goes wrong, how you can come back from it. That is very important. So yeah, do your research and then work on what you want to do.
The one action that I got from this was start thinking, start
thinking.
finding
Yes.
out, and then act on what you want most.
Yes, definitely.
On that note, I just want to say that for those of you who are listening in, if you want to unlock the secrets of success, you really want to get through all of these obstacles and really understand what it takes to overcome your biggest challenges to unlock your potential and achieve success, then jump in on my next webinar. It'll be coming out soon. In the meantime, I want to thank Sharath for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Dude, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and keep inspiring, keep growing, and we will be cheering for you. I'm going to be linking Sharath's handles below, so go ahead, follow him, support him, show him some love. Make sure you learn more about his story and keep supporting people like him, because they are born extraordinary and they are doing extraordinary things. And I think that if you can just apply one or two things with what he shared with us today, we can reach
Thank you so
extraordinary
much.
heights.
Thank you so
So yeah,
much.
bro, if you're looking for more of these amazing stories and incredible podcasts where we are going to be interviewing the most successful people in the world and really understand what it takes to become extraordinary and incredible at what you do, then stay tuned for the next episode of Vikram's Incredible 1000, the Success Podcast. This is us signing off, and until next time.